Oh yeah, first ballot Hall of Fame. What the hell? All right, Steelers have lost to the Texans 30-6 in a pretty wild game, and it does appear this is the last game of Aaron Rodgers' career, going out with a really crazy one, and also Mike Tomlin stepping down after this game is really crazy, but it does feel like it's kind of time. At this point it's been quite a while since they've had a quarterback, and I do really feel like it has been an incredible coaching job from Mike Tomlin, season in and season out. Getting to the playoffs and having all these winning record seasons has been incredible, but it's really hard when you don't get the quarterback, and it's really tough when he has obviously not had the final say on roster decisions as head coach for the Steelers, and really the bets they have made at quarterback did not work out. So first I just want to say that Mike Tomlin is totally one of those coaches that got me interested in football, like as a fan. Obviously, I'm a Lions fan, but I've always kind of been a closet Steelers fan and Ravens fan, so that's crazy with Harbaugh as well. And it should be interesting to see who the Steelers bring in. And it does look like Mike Tomlin will take a year off or so to kind of recalibrate and decide if he wants to keep coaching and where to go. So Texans will advance to play the Patriots, but it does look like Nico Collins will potentially miss that game with a concussion. Starting things out, the Steelers get a field goal. Then it is C.J. Stroud working down the field. They have this flea flicker, and it winds up being a fumble recovered by the defense. Really crazy play here on a flea flicker. Pretty wild. Then it is Aaron Rodgers chucking it downfield, and DK Metcalf dropping the ball. Really nice move here on Stingley, like an in-and-out corner kind of play, and dropping that ball, unfortunately, would have been a huge one. Definitely getting in field goal range. Next time out for the Texans, it is a fumble, and somehow it does not end the drive. They are able to run the ball down the field a lot on this drive, getting it to Christian Kirk here in the flat to score the first touchdown of the game. Then the next time out for the Steelers, right tackle gets smoked on this play, lost so quickly. I thought this might be a screen, but it definitely was not. Pretty crazy play. That did not work that drive. Then C.J. Stroud's going to pick up a fumble here and actually fumble it. And they had a lot of problems with the snap. I think it was like 4 times this game where the snap did not cleanly get to C.J. Stroud. And this one, he just made it a lot worse. He had maybe 5 fumbles this game. It was insane. Anyways, Mike Tomlin's hyped up about that, going for it on 4th and 2. And then going to potentially maybe score, but Rodgers gets sacked here, and they will take a field goal. But then the Texans, before half, they are wasting a ton of time here. They waste like 2 minutes off the clock before even getting a first down. Then they're just going to chuck it up downfield, hope for the best. Then the Texans' first drive out of half, it is this play where C.J. Stroud is trying to extend here and find receiver going across the field. That's Hutchinson, but just doesn't put quite enough zip on this one. Allows the defender to get it. And then Daniel Hunter with one of the best spin moves you will ever see from a defensive lineman. And somehow old man Rodgers able to get away. And then next play, it is him chucking it downfield to Calvin Austin. Not quite able to get to this one. No flag in this play. And I kind of agree. I don't really want a penalty on a play like that in the playoffs. It wasn't that bad. Then later on, next time out for the Steelers after getting a 3 and out, it is Thielen on a nice play here to get in between the zones. And then it is the right tackle getting absolutely destroyed on this one. Daniel Hunter almost gets to him. And then the very next play, he puts another move on him, this time to the outside. And it is a fumble recovered by the offense. But then another fumble, this one by C.J. Stroud. Had to pause the video there, but that fumble will set him to 3rd and 15, where C.J. Stroud will extend and find Christian Kirk way downfield on this play. He puts a nice move on the safety here, causing him to break in the opposite direction, getting wide open. And then it is Aaron Rodgers trying to get it downfield to Calvin Austin, and he almost makes this one. This one is crazy. He was just a fraction of a second away from getting that. And then the next play, the right guard gets absolutely demolished on this play. It is a fumble, and he picks it up, returns it for a touchdown. But this one, oh my gosh, the left guard rather, absolutely gets wrecked. Siamalu on that one. Rodgers takes a nice hit on this one. Then on 2nd and 13, he is scrambling, trying to find Metcalf downfield. And this is a beautiful throw, hitting him in the hands, just about connecting on this one. And after getting a stop, the Texans come back out, and the right tackle jumps really bad on this play. As you can see, this was happening kind of all night. Wasn't really called every time, obviously. This one, a big play to Christian Kirk, and now a run play to Marks up the middle. He makes a nice move here and then runs over a couple of guys getting into the end zone. This is the point where Steelers defense was probably kind of tired. Aaron Rodgers with the long stare definitely knows it's just about over, and then forcing this one, it is an interception return for the touchdown. Rodgers actually puts a good attempt at a hit, at least on this one, but that will be it for Aaron Rodgers. He definitely spent a good amount of time after the game, kind of sharing embraces with players on the other team and talking to guys that he knew probably. But yeah, this was definitely, I think, the last game probably for him. And yeah, Aaron Rodgers is one of those quarterbacks who has always been fun to watch, obviously. And I do think this is probably the best season he's had since he's been on the Packers. And yeah, I do feel like he made some pretty nice throws in this game. And I do feel like he tried to extend at times, and it just was really tough at times to really get anything going, Texans defense is insanely good. So yeah, we'll just have to see what the future holds for the Steelers as well as Mike Tomlin, and also with the Ravens moving on from Jim Harbaugh as well as the Browns with Stefanski. That does make things pretty interesting there in the AFC North, and we will really have to see what the future holds there because the Ravens and the Steelers have been so good for so long, and there have been a lot of really good matchups between those teams, and I do really feel like it is one of the better rivalries in the game. And I do wonder how much of that is going to be gone now with both of these long-time, very good coaches obviously moving on. And there's definitely a chance that the next head coaches on these teams do not bring the same amount of intensity and grit to the football, organization. And there's definitely a chance that those games won't be as interesting or as fun or, as competitive. And yeah, I definitely want to put it out there, moving on from two of the best coaches of all time is definitely risky, but I do feel like it was probably time for both of them. And yeah, some of my earliest memories of watching football were watching the Steelers versus the Cardinals in the Super Bowl. That was an incredible game. And also watching the Steelers play the Ravens in the playoffs and, the Ravens winning that Super Bowl back then. And yeah, just these two coaches really have been two pillars, I would say, of my NFL fandom. And with both of those coaches moving on, there is a real chance that my interest in those two teams completely goes away. Anyways, you got the Texans playing the Patriots next week. Could be without Nico Collins with that concussion. Patriots favored by 3 points. That could be a good game, but it also could be kind of a defensive matchup where if you don't really like watching defense, it's not as interesting. But I do like watching defense, so we'll just have to see what happens, but we'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching.